Blood shedding more and more. I still get a fight though I'm living pure. See war and crime, let us collaborate. Mankind get vile, they have no love no more. Tell them till it's hard, yet them still ignore. Rastafari is life and of this I'm sure. Fire red flames hotter than before. Burn them complete from crust to core. Life seeds I sow, bound dirty Babylon a berry, as cool as a breeze I have love.
Who am I to tell you what to think? That'll be just like the people who try to enslave people's mind, you know? With doctrines. Everyone in a state of constantly becoming man, and within time and space, they might become more and more of themselves. And you don't think that you can go and convince people about anything, because if there's nothing inside that being upon which the words that you have put forward can connect, it just not going to connect. So they have that within themselves before. And so when you become most of the time, it's just a reminder of the things that they have deep within themselves, and it come to the front of them consciousness. And Rastafari has done that. See? So in Rastafari I say no to war and no to this and yes to life. And a lot of people are saying the same thing. Because the people already think about these things. But sometimes you wait on a collective vibes to bring out what you actually think and things, you know? So I think Rastafari has provided that kind of collective space where people can come and express what they must say, not just orally, but through them livity.
I was told by an African brethren in South Africa that they're waiting on Jamaican Rastas to come and teach them how to do this, how to go about this livity. And I think they're not just wanting to hear about the religious dogma associated with Rasta. What they want to hear is mainly how to live in a natural way.
Yeah, destruction of nature. Natural nature, actual nature, mother nature. See? Destruction of it, they're totally big. See me? People just think about girls and guns and money right now. Nothing about nature, nothing about life. You see me? For real. I'm not a flirter, okay? I love ladies still. But the real ones, you know what I'm saying? Want to think about life, think about nature, you know. Know that it is not just she herself. It's about nature, family, tradition, you know, generation, continually, yeah? You have to make way for them. You have to look at the nature for them. Not just for yourself when you're gone and putting them there. So you have to learn them, you know, so that them can understand tomorrow and not know say boy I am gonna chop down the tree. If I can limb off piece, limb off piece. The tree is so good. Remember in a school them teach you about me and the tree are one, you know, and the cow and the goat are one, because science show me that. Man, I didn't think about the earth and the air and the water. Make we survive with the earth, you know what I'm saying? So natural nature after the whole away.
Because it's not a joke thing, and people would watch this, you know, and they would feel like it's a TV thing, it's a video thing, but at the end of the day it's real life, and it's like right now, it's like everything is happening right now, you know. It's knownness, you know, so you can live and be a spectator, or you be a participant, you know. His Majesty say the best life is to live a life of service, you know. So if you can serve your brother man and everybody serving their brother man, then eventually, you know, you'll be served, you know, you'll be taken care of, you know.
What has made sustainable development so important today is the rate at which we're seeing the environment changing and the implications that this have for humans. Climate change, for instance, is one of the biggest things right now in terms of academic discourse. The climate is changing, and I mean, even though there might be debates about the extent to which it is changing, and also the fact that the climate has always been changing, what is significant today is the rate at which it is changing, and the implications, the widespread implications that this have for human well-being. And the main drivers for climate change tend to be anthropogenic. human beings, industry, population growth, and the unsustainable use of energy sources, the reliance on fossil fuels, that's a major contributor to climate change. And the agricultural sector is one of the biggest culprits to climate change. But to be clear, it's not just agriculture in general, but industrial agriculture. Now agriculture contributes around 30 to 33% of global greenhouse gas emissions, largely because of the reliance on fossil fuels to drive industrial type agriculture. So at the moment, we are living beyond our means of survival. And if we, the path, projected path, if we should remain on this path, is going to wreak havoc on populations within developing regions and small island developing states in particular. So there is a need for us to then adopt this whole idea of sustainable development. There's an Inuit saying that says that we did not inherit the earth from our forefathers, but we've borrowed it from our grandchildren. And the whole idea of sustainable development talk about inter as well as intra-generational equity. How we use the earth's resources today is going to have a significant impact on what is left for our grandchildren and great-grandchildren to use in the future. And we have to be mindful of that. And also, it's not just about another generation. I mean, a lot of the changes that are projected to come are within our generation. I mean, in the next 30 years, we're expected to see some significant changes in temperature, global sea level. So, I mean, those are things that are going to affect us. The IPCC has come up with what you can consider to be storylines. So the future is uncertain. So what we have to do is basically look at past trends and then make projections in terms of, what will the world look like, how will it feel by 2050 in terms of temperature, in terms of rainfall and so forth. So you have the worst case scenarios. And then you have the business as usual scenario, which tells the story of what it will look like in the future if we should continue at the current level at which we are now operating. And that is also going to have significant negative implications for especially developing countries and small island developing states in particular. But there's also what you call the best case scenario as well, that speaks to the fact that if we should start to make changes in our lifestyle and the way we live, we can reduce the impacts significantly.
It's important so that we can all live in a clean environment, that we all as people everywhere, no, I don't care what corner of the earth you live in, we all are able to enjoy the earth's natural beauty. And if we are on a path that is a destructive path, we're going to find ourselves in a lot of trouble. You see all the things that are shifting, the ecosystems that have shifted because of man's disregard for the environment. Where bees are along in the middle of the highway, the mosquitoes are out biting people in droves because they chop the bush down where the mosquitoes usually lodge themselves. People have to learn about these things. People have to learn that if you put garbage in the rivers and it washes itself into the sea, that it's going to deplete the reefs, and if the reefs are depleted, there will be no fish. So even the fishing economy is going to suffer. Even though I don't advocate the eating of fishes, but these consequences and repercussions of actions that are taken 5 or 10 years ago, or 20 or 100 or 1,000 miles from where something is happening, people have to be really, really, really mindful of those things. It's important that we do so. We have to breathe air. We have to drink water. We have to eat food that's grown in the soil. If we're not protecting these things and we are going to be drinking the water, breathing the air and eating the food, it's going to affect us. So it's important that we make a connection with these things and try our best to make sure that we're protecting them.
Sustainable development speaks to how you try to balance the drive for economic growth with the need to preserve the environment, as well as the whole idea of becoming a development that is inclusive of all the different groups, whether they are poor brokers in society or vulnerable groups, but especially targeting equity, issues of the equal distribution of resources, and poverty eradication and so forth. Even though we still have not come up with a clear definition as to what sustainable development is. I mean, there are certain principles that, coming from the Brundtland Commission, that speaks to how you utilize resources in a environmentally sensitive and friendly manner. And also it speaks to the fact that we're living today using materials and resources today, but also thinking about the implications of that consumption, that use of resources for the near and as well as distant future. We always talk about sustainable development and climate change as these large-scale processes that have nothing to do with our daily life. But as I always say to my students in my classes, I mean, living sustainable is as simple as plugging out your cellular phone charger when you're finished with it. Using just the right amount of pipe water when you're brushing your teeth. You have persons, for instance, who will turn on the tap and they'll brush their teeth and the tap will be running for the entire time until they're finished. And persons who will turn on the shower in the morning and wait for it to heat up before they go into it. Those are the things that I'm talking about. So when you're talking about carbon footprint, it's not just about a country or the world, but each individual has a role to play. And there's a carbon footprint in the way in which your own lifestyle will dictate the type of carbon footprint that you have. So I mean, the type of car that you drive, if it's a gas guzzler, if you utilize renewable energy in your household activities, those are some of the things that will play a role in the future. So sustainable development is something that is applicable at various levels, at the global level, at the country level, at the national level, and also at the subnational level, in terms of households, as well as even at the individual level. And it speaks to how you use our basic resources, how you use energy, how you use water as a resource. You know, if you choose to eat certain things that are damaging to the environment, as opposed to if you should go, to say a vegetarian lifestyle that is probably a little bit more in tune with the environment. If you support beef, then you're supporting, for instance, those industrialists who convert corn on a daily basis to feed their livestock, using all those machineries that use of fossil fuels and contribute to green global warming. So I mean, even the type of food that you eat plays a role in terms of your carbon footprint. If you eat a lot of imports, think about the amount of food miles from that. In terms of people have to pack that into crates, they have to ship it to your country. So if it's by plane, then that's also contributing to greenhouse gas emissions. So actually, one of the ways in which we can reduce the global carbon footprint is to start to eat more local. So reducing the food miles, and it's good for you too, because it means that the food have a shorter lifespan. The amount of chemicals that are used on food crops and all of those things play a role into this whole global warming and climate change phenomenon.
I have seen what has been the result of socialization. Though I live in a time and space where there's an overabundance of resources on earth, you have needlessly billions of people who are hungry and things, you know. You know, it's not shortage of money we have or shortage of food, you know. You have more than enough rice produced by the United States alone to feed the entire globe, you know. But what we have is a shortage of kindness among those who tend to control the resources, you know. And that has led to many problems because a lot of the crime and violence that you see around here, when you go to the root of it for you, the root of it is really about poverty. Check it, the root of it is really about poverty, you know. It's not scarcity. Like, oh, Malthus would want to argue. It's not scarcity. We're not having a real scarcity of what is needed amongst our people, man. What we have is selfishness. You have an oversupply. And an oversupply of selfishness among some people who have. The central problem then is not to do what we have or don't have, but our thing. You know, and the philosophy where you hold and the ethic where you hold and how you see things around there. But unfortunately, so right now, the selfishness kind of really govern a lot of the decisions that impact a lot of people. And what you see is just really a result of that, you know, that kind of philosophy, you know. And Rastafari is different. Rastafari is not about selfishness. No, it's not about selfishness. You know? It's as last I say, man, ultimately, I have to be a new race of people. And that is not phenotype, you know. It's not genes either, because 99.9% the same anyway. It's more philosophy. Rastafari has always been a voice that questions and challenges the status quo.
Rasta is always agitating for change for the better, social upheaval that will uplift the many. That has been the foundation of Rastas. Trying to remove all forms of oppression from off the earth so that people can live in peace, in love, and in unity. Because in every aspect of Rastafari livity, that is what we're expounding. Doesn't matter which, Rastas have always said peace and love and unity. And so Rasta's activism is vibrant and well all over the world.
Well, I see that sustainable development is a new set of words, it's not a new concept. See? Because Rasta have been doing that, and from before Rasta re-emerged in this time, you can point to other ancient societies which you couldn't tell the difference between man-animal and any other kind of animal and all related to plants, and because we see ourselves as being one and the same. So Rastafari come forward in this time and, for want of a better word, remind people of this importance, you know. It is good now to see that globally, that is the awareness taking place where ones realize that it is not about the ones who are here in the immediate, you know. It is really about the future, you know. Yeah. So you have to be that living, ancient future.
Those people who are today calling themselves Rastas and are not concerned about the environment, not concerned about recycling, those people are far removed from the foundation of what Rasta stands on. Rasta came as natural recyclists. Rastas came as natural protectors of wastefulness and lived as minimalist and precautionist against wastefulness. In the beginning, that was the lifestyle. Always been the lifestyle, growing your own food, becoming self-determinate and self-reliant, and making sure that you did not do anything that was detrimental to the environment. That was the livity of Rastafari. That was the attraction, the magnetism of Rastafari to me in particular, is the way they live, the simplicity, the care for every living species on the earth, so they wouldn't, to the point where we are not going to eat another animal. So we're going to eat foods that carries life, and foods that, for example, you eat an orange, you take the seed out, you can throw it on the ground and it will grow another orange tree. So we're always in a meditation and a vibration where we're sustaining life, always.
Well, Rastafari as a lifestyle pushes for natural liberty, natural life, you know. It pushes for this things that would continue to develop oneself and develop what's around one, and also help to put one in a position to be independent, you know. And that's where sustaining, I think, comes in, you know. Rastafari a lot of times focus on natural aspects of things with regards to planting foods, with regards to farming, agriculture, you know. With regards to recycling and kind of caring for the earth and all these things. With regards to diet and food, I think that's one of the prime examples of sustainability, you know. Because the Rastafari diet is a vegetarian one, you understand? And this is one that is something recyclable, you know. You plant your garden, you eat fruits, you do these things, and you plant trees and you repeat the process. And that in itself is sustainability, you understand? That in itself brings the independence and a certain level of sustained development, you know. So from the time you can produce your own food, you understand, you're already putting yourself in a position to sustain yourself. You understand, that's what we say.
Natural nature just teach you along the way, embrace you along the way, flourish you along the way. You see me I say? But you have to do your part too. You have to give strength to it, because if you cut down the trees them, and you dig down the mountain them, and you build a whole per road give me, and you know build a farm and them thing there, you build a bag of factory. You see me, and you know create a farm, you plant too much flowers tree. You see me I say? Plant fruit tree too. See? Trees, pine trees, plant trees, trees that can bear, man, you can have. Take care of the nature, take care of the river, take care of the land. Don't pollute the thing. You see me I say? Love it and it will love you. You see me I say? Give love and it will give love back to you, because that you are dealing with it now.
You can do your own front yard garden. I would encourage and suggest that people get involved in doing their own front yard garden to determine that they eat some things that are naturally grown, and be a part of that revolutionary change that is making sure that we don't destroy our environment by using Monsanto genetically modified seeds. And RADA is guilty of that in Jamaica. They're taking seeds from Monsanto and giving to farmers to grow, and when they grow and they're finished with that crop, there are no seeds, so they have to go back and buy again from Monsanto through RADA. So if you are a farmer out there and listening to this, your best bet is to become a member of the Jamaica Organic Association and try to get your information through those channels, and not rely on RADA, because they are not people with integrity.
Here it is. I'm not a man who afraid to get my hands dirty. Deep in the soil, Rasta man is so earthly. Plant more seeds are just trees of beauty. Now push no war, I just love our duty, yo. World leaders, what are your priorities? So many wars, but none on world poverty. So many hungry, so many unhealthy. Locked in this jungle, concrete monstrosity.
Well, music well is farming. We plant and watch it grow. I mean, no say if we planting love, then we are gonna never reap in sorrow no more. Well, the music well is farming. Sometimes me mud up in a studio. Sometimes me mud up on a stage show. Until me rest up on a stage, so you know.
Well, this is my place, and I do the farming around here, and I also do it organic. My fertilizer is the rain and the sun and fire. So I put fire after building, cut the place down, clean it up, then I put fire for fertilizing. So the place will keep organic, you know, and it's good for your immune system when you eat natural food without fertilizer, right? Yeah. No, I don't sell these stuff. I do use these stuff for myself and give to people, other people, friends and so on, and whoever desire something that even can't afford and so on. So I do it that way. People should live accordingly, you know, naturally. And people should live for others and don't live for themselves. That's how the liberty is. You have to share liberty. Yeah. When you have it, you share. As long as you're alive, you share your liberty with others so things can go right. And people will live in a good way and a good manner and share liberty. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah.
I live as Rastafari really is about how we empower people to empower themselves, you know. But you put in place factors that truly improve the quality of lives of people in a sustainable way. And that is Rastafari has been doing from that time to this time. You know, it wasn't kind in those kind of phrases of the social entrepreneur and the philanthropist, but just by living it and observing other ones, you can say it drives that philosophy. Even the whole idea of sustainable development, you know, because remember, sustainable development is one, remember, say, it's a dynamic where you, while satisfying your own need, don't jeopardize future generations from satisfying their needs as well. So it's a long view, which is both which across generations, and intra. So you talk about equal rights and justice, equity. So you talk about equity within the current generations and equity across generations. You know? And Rastafari always reason that. Rastafari reason of equal rights and justice and always talking about the long view. See? Rastafari, like other ancient societies, we make you know, say, I am my ancestors, you know, separation with time and space between those who I come from and those who are come forward from I. Is that kind of oneness, and therefore you have always have that in the front of your meditation. You know, the idea of the sustainability.
And the main thing with regards to sustainability and Rastafari is Rastafari's independence and the independence of a Rasta man or a Rasta woman. You understand? Because you wouldn't see a lot of Rastafarians or a lot of Rastafari people subscribing to a job that is 9 to 5 or a job that is common in the Western, you know, frame mind. I think you would see more freelancing Rastafari youths, and you'd see more Rastafarians doing craft and doing natural things, doing handmade things, handy things, you know, dealing with food, dealing with proper food, with healthy, holistic foods, dealing with organic business, you know, and some matter of hands-on stuff, you know, and being social. And I think that in itself is just part of the Rasta lifestyle.
Babylon is falling, we're tired of the warning. We just want to be free. The youths them calling for shelter from the storming. Who's gonna take the lead? Plant the seed of knowledge. What we know is not our own, that's what we've grown. The wrong seed we've sown. Soon, one by one, the message will be passed on. The truth will only make us strong. When we know we're worth in creation, nothing can hold it down. I educate the boys and girls, they've been waiting for too long. For their time, the time to wake, the time is now, we cannot wait. For their time, the time to wake, the time is now, the time is now.
Hi, I'm Carmen, and I do homemade wines, as you can see. Yeah, this. Okay, and all these are natural wines. There are no artificial preserves, there are no artificial flavors, and there are no artificial coloring. And they are made from local produce, from the market to the bottles. And that's what I do. Okay, all these are about being self-sufficient. You know, because one has to survive. Actually, I worked as a practical nurse and I lost my job. Then I had to do something in order to survive and not going around begging people, because that's really not my thing. So I have to just work, learn new things, and learn to produce so I can be more self-sufficient. Yeah.
when you go back and read the boy them like all Marx and them man they work, you know, them man they tell you about the evils of them own people, them, you know, in terms of the exploitative relationship between, you know, the forces and production within a particular mode of production and thing, you know. Seeing? And we know that it best manifests itself through enslavement, where people are treated as properties of other people. And therefore you only add value when you have some kind of value to the plantation space. Which is all the man them who hold that same nasty ethic towards the environment behave now. The only thing that is a value, I think we have an instrumental or user value. That's how they treat people. So I never know labor thing where you get up and say you're going to work for an established organization, because we say all of the isms them were problematic. Capitalism, socialism, every kind of ism. And I say we're not dealing with ism or schism, we are dealing with people and liberty. See? So the fundamental difference you can find between the Rasta man and the man who trod under the order of the West is that we hold a culture of independence. So whichever era you are in, you try to establish your own sense of independence. See? So I first say the philosophy that Rastafari promotes is entrepreneurship. See? Entrepreneurship, not labor. And entrepreneurship can come in many kinds of forms. See? So if you find that, say, okay, you're going to school and you want to become a teacher, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to just teach in an organization. Your long-term objective must be to establish a school system. You see what I mean? So, the way I check of livelihood and sustainable livelihood is the ones that says you must have a sense of independence.
Well, Rasta lifestyle more sustainable than Babylonian lifestyle is because of how the people them can't see the truth within the Babylonian lifestyle. After a while, them don't say it not go nowhere, you know. But Rasta lifestyle in general, it's infallible, you know what I mean? It non-stop. I just have to get into the, you know, the lifestyle, the whole vibration. And then you just see clear, you just go on when the Babylon thing stop right there, so. It's just like, you know, 26 letter in the alphabet, you know, we're going to stop right there, so have a stop margin. Rasta said stop. Because when them check out Africa, them check out other places and how them deal with and they embrace it with Isla, it's a whole infinity vibration because, you know what I mean, you can't see the whole vibe just through a natural eyes, you know. So the youth, them always, and the people, them international worldwide, see the truth. You know, because they used to live the Babylon lifestyle, it was the number one high priority. And Rasta is like nothing, you know, and then just screep go on because the people, them see the truth. They see the thing, you know what I mean? It's one day you're going to see the light. Bob Marley said you're going to see the light, you know, and the people really see the light, international, worldwide. I understand now that people can just go by them natural way, and they're more affordable, and they're more higher, you know.
Ital has more than one meaning. I'd say in the beginning when Rastas arose in Jamaica, the idea of Ital meant no salt, as well as no meat, no processed food. For me, Ital means everything I do is sustainable. Everything I eat is sustainable, eco-friendly. That is Ital for me. When I can live in a home where I am not hooked up to the Jamaica public service, which is their electricity, when I'm using solar panels or some form of sustainable energy giving source, then I am going to be 100% Ital. When I'm not hooked up to the National Water Commission and paying them for water, I live in Portland and water falls here all the time, then I will be 100% sustainable. But for right now, as it stands, I try my very best to make sure at least 98% of what I do is sustainable. Things that are out of my control right now, my vibration is to to get there. That's it. For example, because I have to use the electricity and their water, I'm the one who turns off all light switches. We're in this house, if you're in this room and the computer is on, it gives light. We don't need to have the overhead light. I'm very conscious of stuff like that. It also saves me a lot of money to be paying the Jamaica, and I have a choice word for the P, but public service. I would just rather save my money than give it to them. The same with water. I don't want to hear pipes running. I don't want to see you turn off the pipe and it's still dripping. When you're doing what you're doing, turn the pipe off while you're done. I do all the little things, I walk a lot. I don't jump into a car like most people here do for a $50, $70 ride. I try my best to do everything that I possibly can to cut down on the amount of carbon footprints I leave behind me. Everything. I unplug my phone charger from the wall. I unplug everything that is not in use from the wall so that it does not use up an excessive amount of electricity or excessive amounts of water to cause waste. So I try to do everything I possibly can. And when I started eating fully idle in May of 1996, and I started shopping in the health food store, my grocery bill went down dramatically. Because I cut out the $100 of meat. And even though the prices on my toothpaste, my soap, my shampoos, my lotions was a little higher than the non-sustainable personal items I used to use, that $100 of meat that I used to eat, that money went towards those things.
You know, a part of the ethic of Rastafari is a Rastafari so that the hungry be fed, the sick be nourished, the shelters be sheltered, the naked be clothed, the aged protected and the infant cared for. Fundamentally, there's a kind of philanthropic kind of philosophy which guides Rastafari. So the approach towards enterprise was driven by that kind of new mindset, where it's not selfish, self-interest as how we are socialized under Adam Smith and Matthews and ideas. No more enlightened self-interest anchored in the idea of collective security, you know? So self-reliance through collective security. So that is the fundamental ethic and philosophy that drives my own approach towards scholarship and research. You know, and as always, knowledge in your brain and knowledge not shared is almost, in a sense, less worthwhile than if you share it, you know? The essence of knowledge is actually share, and so we can empower people to empower themselves. Yeah. Yeah, my brother is Kidusai. Kidusai was a chanter who in Rockers as well as a chanter. You know. Kidusai is a very fascinating bridging. Kidusai has a vision which is called Green for Life, you know. And Green for Life is really how you have to transform the globe through agriculture in a positive and meaningful way. And I'm actually fuse it in their music, which I find to be very interesting. Kidusai's biggest project now is really on Moringa and the Moringa wine. You might think he's a leading researcher of that era.
Poverty of material, richness within. Yeah. Minimalist and precautionalist of spirit, they call them savages. Yeah. Conservationalist of nature and against wastefulness. And now they educate themselves about reversal is. So which one is it?
Greetings and one love. Green for Life is a vision that I had in Canada on my birthday back in the 70s. I've been lifted up and shown the world of fresh water, salt water, but the terra firma itself was to be green. So with that vision, understanding that we're living in an electromagnetic universe, electromagnetic world, We ourselves are electromagnetic beings. So on the living theater, which is planet Earth, our purpose in life as divine sparks and godlings is to come into the flesh and walk the 7 stairs out of physical material. This physical starts from the procreation into stomach to feed, maintain, and then material up to the mouth. And then spiritual starts from breath, right? Now, for bread to survive, I would think that terra firma needs good husbandman and husbandwoman who care. Because as I said on the living theater, all the props you get for your show is wood, stone, land, fauna, birds, beasts, animals, etc. The sea, the waters of the world now, which has the fish and the various form of life form, and at the same time algae which provides. So the trees and the water provide us with this source for psyche-physical beings to coexist. And if we're going to be able to coexist, and our future children and grandchildren coexist harmoniously, we need them to become conscious of the green, the reality of what the green is and what the benefits we get to humanity. So, Green for Life is just, it has an umbrella because it has no class, no creed. It is sufficient for everyone. Everyone can identify with that, regardless of where you're from, what color, what religion, what sect, etc., etc. From your care for terra firma, then become husbandman and husbandwoman, and let us build some sustainable community development programs through our green vision. Right?
I'm Jamila Smith, and I'm the company secretary for the Green for Life mission. The objective for the Green for Life mission to me is that we're trying to ensure that we can get the world, implement programs and initiatives where we can get the world to realize that we should be using terra firma to sustain terra firma. So it's using ourselves as the resources, using Earth as the resources to sustain ourselves, to sustain the Earth. So, exactly. Our intention basically is to use, we're starting off with the moringa plant, which is a very, very powerful plant. Not a lot of people know about it. The moringa plant has more nutrient value, gram for gram, in any one leaf than any single known leaf scientifically. Right? It has for example, 7 times the amount of vitamin C as oranges. It has a great amount, 16 times the amount of potassium as bananas, and the list goes on and on and on. It is known to fight 300 diseases, right? Not Johns Hopkins University just did a study to confirm that as well. We have also the moringa plant, the seed of it being our natural water purifier. Yes, purifies water up to 98% in certain volumes. So we're going to be using, we have actually already started using this plant to make wines, to make pastries, to make vitamin waters and juices, and we're only 6 months old, and the attention has been great. Now we just want to let everybody know that they can go to www.greenforlifevineyards.com to find out about our products and our services.
To the non-profit side of the Green for Life program. Okay, in this now, to supply seedlings, seeds, etc., fertilizer, is non-profit. The profit side comes from when the material is ready, then we start exchanging gas, but to maintain that constant supply for each community so we can offer them natural, good seeds, good organic fertilizers, and the right and proper seedlings conducive to where you are. Right?
Green for Life is also going to be involved in philanthropy. So we have a whole non-profit side through which we're going to launch programs such as a school feeding program. We're going to launch other programs like a community development program. Yeah, so where we're giving the community seeds, we're giving the community all the resources necessary to be able to produce through agriculture and sustain themselves. So we're also going to have training programs where we're training local entrepreneurs on how to use these resources as a means of sustaining themselves.
So a green vision for everyone. And we offer this to mankind, hoping that all will participate and share in such Rastafari blessings and love.
So you know what I'm concerned about now? When do the world survey, more people are less religious, but them say more spiritual. These generation X and Y, lick down religion, the spiritual thing about deal with. Knowledge of self, you know, which is the ancient principle of knowing thyself, which is knowing the I self. See? But the appeal of Rastafari to knowledge of self and therefore recognizing that self is just a microcosm as a macro, which means what I say in self is what exists out there, and therefore you recognize that in how you relate to all things which seems external is how you relate to the I self internally as well, because there's no separation, you know. And I find that because that energy was global, Rastafari was embraced by all race and class of people in different spaces, by many race and class, not all, of people in many different spaces who were resonating to the same vibration where Rastafari resonate to, which is collective security. Deal with people irie, deal with plant irie, deal with animals irie. It's irony, so that Rastafari chant of enough for you. Yeah, man.
Straight, you have to love the eye track so that eye track can love you. Love life, life love you. Take care of life, life take care of you. Treat life, life treat you. If you diss life, life or diss you. If you waste life, life will go waste you. You embrace life, life embrace you. See me? So life in general, my hygiene.
So you have to know that these things that you do are really signals to yourself that A, do not limit yourself, and B, do not limit other persons around you. Because if I and I know that everything is connected, once I limit something, it means I limit myself indirectly. And Rastafari shows there is no limit.
Just generally have to look at the Rastafari, you can't limit it, you know. Smoking marijuana is individual and as people, they will limit Rastafari to my dreadlocks and my blackness and my marijuana, but it's nothing like that. I think it's the least of it is your locks and all these physical things, and you know, I think tapping into your spirituality and being physical and all, doing all these things, you know, the whole fullness of life, you know. That's if I tap into these things and you see people doing it.
You know, so the part of becoming more of oneself, you find that giving takes you faster to that state than receiving. And so I find a lot of youth actually have this yearning to help in a very genuine way, where I think a lot of adults are too distracted to even recognize it and think still.
I've always said the most powerful thing you have is your word as a person. The most powerful thing you have, as long as you have the ability to speak, is the word, is to say, you know. So even within the realm of things, artists play a very important role because they are very influential and they need to understand this. You understand?
Rastafari globally presents an ethic and a philosophy that shows us, watch you know. Yeah man, I can use Google and conquer all man. So you know, check out a number of the freedom fighters. In black and white countries, they will listen to a lot of Rastaman music. Seeing? And it's not just listening, they must get up, stand up and don't give up the fight. They must listen to other things as well to man, where I tell about one love man, you see? So we have a see it say, the music has been a medium through which this message get out, and in the music it tell about the live. So in the music it tell about how you eat and how you dress. What kind of dwellings you want to create. How you relate to other people around you and things. And undoubtedly, Rastafari music, which them refer to know as reggae music, as being one of the most far-reaching and impacting musical forms on the globe.
We saw people like Sizzla, Buju Banton and all those people, Capleton, Rise, Junior Kelly, and the new ones that are here, I Wayne and Protege, and now Janine, who as a sister, I think, is expounding lyrics that should be exposed to children all over Jamaica. Her music should be played all over the airwaves.
Janine, you know, Janine is she has a presence, you know. She has a presence, and especially on stage, you know, it's kind of enhanced. She's very powerful, you know, and she's very humble at the same time. And I think a lot of people just need to listen to what she's saying and tune in, you know. And yeah, man.
Blessed love, brothers and sisters. Blessed love. It is a wonderful time to be alive on this earth. There are so many wonderful things happening. And we are so blessed to be on this island, Jamaica. And regardless of what is going on in each of our individual lives, let us remember that the Most High is in control. And if we really and truly know this, you know, not just believe this, you know, but know this, then all we have to do is work toward perfecting ourselves. So even though I will burn fire in the music, you know, at the end of the day, the message is love. The message is love, and the message is look within yourself for the solutions.
All right.
No pointing fingers,
That's
no placing
right.
blames.
Oh, yeah.
I know, because I'm a woman. Or not, some claim indemnity from the original plot, as though their integrity could still be intact. But what is the likelihood of that? When if you trace the source of each resource they've got, they're tapped into the veins of the masses the system maintains, feeding on their youthfulness and draining from their brains. And when the weak ones are rejected, armed and turned toward the strife, they return with force and take away their life. But make no mistake, there is life in abundance for all to partake. So war is redundant and it is futile. The place of too many good feelings. The place of we all are the same. The essence of life in this physical plane. So nothing can be straight. You just have to claim it all. Yes, I remember this.
Janine is a yogi, so she is expressing also peace and love and unity in her music. Because you can't be a yogi and not speak on unity. You can't be Rasta and not speak on unity. So yoga and Rasta goes together because they're saying the same thing. There is not a difference between both. And I want this to be known that Rastafari, yoga, things of that nature, our agitation for social change, our agitation for the protection of the environment and for the protection of humanity, they're one and the same. Unity. That's what we're talking about. Peace, love, and unity.
So it's time for we to just stop burning on the queen and burn on this one and burn and burn and burn. Because if we sit down here for 2 days burning down the king, the queen and the king of England or whoever, you understand? That's just us here chanting, burning them down for 2 days. It was. When for that 2 days we can set a plan. Okay, how are we going to, you know? How are we going to build, how are we going to build a school? How are we going to do something, you know? So we have to get up and be productive and be things and stop sitting down and saying and fighting we down and stop sitting down and burning out, you know. We have to get up and start sustaining ourselves also.
So I say, all of I that's around here can irate things, they initiate things, they make things come into being. We have to have that awareness of mind that says, yes, I as beings can make significant things happen.
It has to start with education, and it has to start in the schools from young children, because when a horse is gone through the gate, there's really nothing you can do. But when a young tree, you can't bend an old tree. You have to bend a young tree. So the children are and it has to be that there is some kind of process in the education system that enlightens children so that they can go home and speak to their parents of these things.
With a 6-point star of food, clothes, shelter for mankind, the sick nourished, the infants cared for, and the aged protected. With that 6-point star under a green umbrella, I think we're well on our way to fulfilling our obligation to each other and our obligation to the pure potential from the unmanifest to manifest within I and I should and will be completed if we work off of these golden steps.
Yes, what I really want to say is still I want to say bless the world, you know, and bless the world with organic, you know, because we have to start to eat these kind of things now to live longer. Because you don't know personally the kind of chemical that we're having, that's what taking our life shortly. So we have to make sure, say, we get organic and then to live longer, naturally, yeah? And I want to bless the world for that, you know? So keep it up, yeah.
Start seeing like a calling for uprising of the conscious levity, you know? And many people are doing it and in many ways, you know? And like I say, everybody have to play their part, so you may not be a high priest, or you may not be a ganja farmer, you may not be, you know, the writer who's writing the books of Rastafari, you may not be the artist who everybody feels the gods, but you may be the Kemetic yoga teacher who is spiritually balancing, you know, the lives of I and I, you know. You may be, you know, the idol chef, you know. You may be the juice man making the spirulina and the, you know, and the moringa wine and the, you know, moringa juice, you know. You may be
I was just saying, Green for Life, message for the world. And the message is, let's work together. Serious. If you really feel the need to be in touch, because everyone should be recognizing at this time, right? The variant changes, the rapid changing that we see terra firma mama going through, right? Where the waters are threatened, the oceans are threatened, right? The land is polluted and overworked in certain areas. I wonder if Mama is not going to go through a menstrual cycle, you know, and maybe a lot of places swallowed up and some places rise again to start anew because the abuse has been enormous and we feel threatened for our future children and their children. So if we don't really get ourselves feeling heart consciousness with Mama Earth terra firma, and that we need to say no, enough is enough, leaders and corporations. Enough is enough, and let's just do it together. Equity and justice will help balance it all, you know what I mean? But let us all put our hands and hearts together to row this planet Earth forward in harmony and unity. You understand? We ain't gonna go nowhere with you pulling left and me pulling right unless it's a harmony of energy, synchronizing together to go forward. Blessed love. Rastafari.
Organic so good. It's so good to we. Lord mercy. The organic so good. It's so good to eat. It's good for your immune system. It's good for everybody. When you eat organic, you feeling so irate. Yeah. It's so good, it's so good, it's so good to eat. Yeah, yeah. It's so good, it's so good, it's so good to eat. It's good for me, it's good for you. It's good for he, it's good for she. It's so good for we. Yeah, organic so good. It's so good for we. Yeah, yeah. Not to mention when you peel the banana and you boil it down in some coconut and you get some planted and you get a few dashing. It's so good, it's so good, it's so good to eat. That's why it's so good, it's so good, it's so good to eat. That's why we have to love it, you know, bless it. Yeah, organic, original, you know. Yeah, number one, numero uno.
Bless.
This one called Nature. I got the rainfall, I got the breeze blow, I got sunshine, I got, you know, me on the tree. Me on the tree, look at this tree, man, one, yeah. Yeah, I'm on the tree, one, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, check it out. I said, I draw nature, give thanks now for I draw nature. Oh, I draw nature, and me celebrate I draw nature now. I draw nature, give thanks now for natural nature, yeah, yeah. This time nature, celebrate